Hey guys, this is Eddie here, and in this video I'm going to try to make a quick tutorial on how to create your own custom themes, and custom color palettes in N++. So I was, experimenting a little bit with the game files today, and I figured out how to do this, and I thought that surely someone must have done this before, but apparently after discussing with some people, that was not the case. So I'm going to see if I can explain myself properly here. So what you're seeing right now is a custom theme. It's just something real quick and artificial that I made just to showcase the possibilities. I just changed the color of the tiles, the background, and the gold. And as you can see, this is playable. This is not a screenshot. Let me just show it. Right. So I'm not going to be able to talk at the same time because I have a weird setup right now that's a bit uncomfortable. But as you can see, this is completely playable. And I didn't just modify an already existing theme. This is actually a new theme that I've created by modifying Vasquez. Right. So for example, as you can see, right? Okay. So how to do this? Well, first of all, you're going to have to find the folder in which N++ is installed, right? In which all the game files are. Now, this is not the documents folder in which you typically have the user levels that you've made and whatnot, but actually the installation folder is the one that I'm talking about, and this is going to be inside the Steam folder. So you're going to have to find that on Linux, which is my machine. This is the direction, the one that you're seeing over here. Home, user, and then you visit this string of directories. On Windows and Mac is going to be something similar, right? So Windows, it's pretty similar, except it is located inside a folder called Steam Library, and Mac is pretty similar to Linux on the beginning, but then you have to go to Library, which is a hidden folder. Okay, I'm not so... Again, the most important part is you have to find Steam apps, right? Once you've done that, everything else should be the same. Maybe in Mac, instead of a subfolder, is a package, and you have to navigate to the contents. Anyway, so once you found the folder, you will be over here, right? In the folder Common N++ NPP. Now, what you're going to have to do here is actually a bit artificial, but it works. You're going to have to create a folder, because you probably will not have it. So you're going to have to create this folder. If you have it, even better. But if you don't, you're going to have to create a folder called exactly palettes with a capital P. And inside of that, every folder is going to correspond to one theme. And the title of the folder, or the name of the folder, is going to be the name of the theme that appears in the game, right? Now, these are all the themes, the 123 themes that you have on the game. But as I said, if you just created this folder, obviously you're not going to have this. And also the official themes are not really stored here. So I could just delete this and nothing would happen. These are loaded somewhere else, I don't really know where. So I could just delete them without a problem. But I have them because then, I can edit them. I will probably upload this. You can download it in the video description, because it's interesting. If you don't have this, well, now you can download all of them and play with them a little bit. Anyway, so what you can do, but as I said, you cannot modify these because the official ones, they are loaded somewhere else. So what you can do is create a new theme with a different name, and create your own theme there. So you could duplicate this one, for example, change the name, and then modify that, and you're going to create a new theme based on Void. So what do you have inside? What do you have to put inside of each theme folder? Well, you're going to have to put exactly these files. And these are exactly 30, they have to be exactly like this, 35 files. Each file is an image, and each image has to have this name, right? And each image, what does it contain? Well, it contains the color of a particular entity. So for example, if I go over to entity bat, which is how they call the death ball for some reason, you can see these three colors, which are indeed the colors of the death ball in the Vasquez theme. As I said, this theme, I created it based on Vasquez. So all you have to do to create your own theme, as I said, is create your folder with the name that you want for your theme, inside of there put these files, which of course I'm going to provide you in the description. So all you have to do is unzip it and then modify those files. Now, what is the format of this image? Well, this image is a horizontal sequence of 64 by 64 blocks. So the dimensions are always going to be 64 in height and a multiple of 64 in width. Each block corresponds to one color exactly. And what does each color mean? Well, obviously that it has to be figured out. Now, we've already been doing a lot of work on this respect, and we're creating a list or sort of database to figure out what every single color means. But you know, I already figured out all the object colors. There's like 90 of them. And then today there's been like 3-4 hours on the Discord, and several players like Skylighter and BigQFan have been helping figuring out what the menu does. Because I don't know if there is one file here, the menu, which is crazy. It has 42 colors, and this controls all the colors in, you know, the menus, the options, and whatnot. Okay, so as I said, in this list that we're making, this is a work in progress, right? And we're going to put, first of all, an index that shows, you know, every file, how many colors it has and what it represents. Right? So for example, the background has 6 colors and it's this file, and so on and so forth. And then for each file, for example, menu TGA, it has 42 colors and what every color means exactly. So you can use this to generate your own theme. Okay, so all you have to do now, once you already know this, is modify a theme. Is modify the corresponding file. Of course, you can see here, this over here is the background file that I'm opening with GIMP. Now, you can see these are Targa files, which are not compressed, and that is partially why the size is so big for such a small image. And not only because a PNG would be a few bytes, such a simple PNG, but not only that, this is super inefficient because every color takes 64 by 64 pixels, which is like 4,000, and they could have done that with just one. So I'm not really sure why they decided to go with this format, which is very inefficient. Actually, all the tiles they take like 400 megabytes if you consider all the palettes. But anyway, so all you have to do now is, for example, this is the menu file. You can take the bucket and change any of the squares, and that's going to change the corresponding color in here, right? So it's as simple as that. Of course, when you have neighboring colors, like in here, you can't use the bucket. So you're gonna have to figure out where the boundary is, right? Where the 64 pixel boundary is, and only color that one. Now, interestingly enough, so let's go ahead and try that out. Let's go ahead and make a little something interesting here. So let's say that I want to put the background white, and I'm also going to change the foreground. For example, in the background folder, or the background file, which is this one, as you can see, there are 6 colors, and if we go over here, the first one are the tiles, the second one are the tile outlines, third one is the background, and the other 3, I haven't figured them out yet. So what we've done here is, surely we have changed the background, and now I'm going to change the foreground, the tiles, but not the outlines. Now you could think, okay, do you have to color the whole 64 by 64 block? Actually not. And the reason for that is, it makes sense, of course. The game only checks 1 pixel to see what color it is. So having this huge block is very inefficient, but you know, that's how it works. So, but just to show you that it works, I'm going to paint the single pixel that the game checks. And what is that pixel? Is actually the 3231. So that one, right? So if I just painted the correct one, hopefully, and just by changing that single pixel, actually, you know what? I shouldn't have put it white because the background is white. Let me change it to red. There we go. So now the foreground should be red, and I don't know if you can actually see it, but I've actually painted it square. So as I said, in every 64 by 64 block, only the middle pixel, which is the 3231, only that one gets checked. So let's go ahead and reset the game, because all the colors are loaded when you start up the game, so that excuse me, so you need to restart the game to actually be able to see the new colors. Let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, the foreground is now red because we changed the corresponding pixel in here. And I could have painted the whole thing, of course. I could have painted the whole block, or I could have painted, let's say, you know, the center a little bit, and that would have been enough. And then the background, as you can see, is white. So that's how you do it. So just to recap a little bit, every image is a sequence of horizontal 64 by 64 blocks. Each block is a color, and each color, you know, what they mean is represented, is explained here. And of course that text that I showed, this text is a work in progress, not complete yet. You can find it on the direction in the video description, in the paste bin direction, but it will be hopefully completed until we know what every single color does. And then you can just modify it at your will, either by coloring the whole block or the single point, and that's it. That's how you create a theme. And as I say, in order to do so, it has to be inside the NPP folder. You create a folder called palettes, which you will probably not have, and then inside of here you create a folder with the name of your theme, and inside there you unzip the contents of what I will provide in the video description, right? Which is going to be these 35 images that you need. Okay. So that about wraps it up. Just to make a couple of comments. The first one is that this opens up many interesting possibilities if you think about it. So one of them, for example, you can make the ninja, you can make invisible enemies, for example, just by painting them with the colors of the background, or you can make the invisible ninja by doing the same thing, maybe even coloring the dust with the same color as the background, so the ninja is completely invisible. You could paint the foreground and the background with the same color, so that you can't really tell, you know, where the tiles are. So this opens up a lot of interesting possibilities, apart from the fact that you can, you know, really express yourself artistically here and create your own themes. And hopefully, you know, this opens up an interesting modding community, you know, a community of you know, people sharing their own themes, interesting themes based on whatever. You know, it will be very interesting to see, to play with custom things that people have made. If you want to share them, or if you have any question, you can do so in the comments of the YouTube of this video, or you can go to the Discord server, which is called N++, with letters, N++, not with the sign plus, but with the actual letters, and you know, we'll be happy to answer them, and you can share your themes there. And another comment that I wanted to make, and this is going to be the final one, is that, you know, it's a bit tedious to edit the files manually, as you can see. Well, not too much once you get the hang of it, but it can be a little bit tedious. So if this gets enough audience, if there's enough people actually modding and creating their own themes, I actually have an interesting project in mind to make a theme editor, so that you can, you know, that simplifies everything. It tells you all the options, you know, all the different colors and enemies and whatnot, and you can just select the color of each one. You don't have to go around freaking, you know, modifying these files manually, right? So anyway, that's pretty much it. So see you next time.